This happened just yesterday, so it's fresh in my mind. I'm not quite sure what to think of it because it was just so bizarre and unbelievable. I might have just been sleep deprived. So last night at maybe 11 o'clock, I was walking around my block. My town is relatively safe, so I didn't feel in danger. Plus it was a pretty night. I had been walking for around 5 minutes when a pale woman with blonde hair and a white dress caught my eye from across the street. She was about my height and looked to be around my age too. I didn't actually pay attention to her after I first noticed her. While I circled the block again, she was on the same street, a couple feet in front of me. She was standing on the curb, staring at the cars passing by. It was a main road, so even the late people were still driving on it. I said hello to her, and she turned her gaze to me. I couldn't see her face super well, but from what I think I saw, she had no pupils or color in her eyes. She just stared at me. After a while, I asked if she was okay. She didn't respond again and simply pointed at the road. I was really confused and didn't understand. Right as a red car started coming down the road, she stepped into the road. The car slammed into her and it was a bloody mess. The driver immediately stopped and jumped out. It was a man in his mid-20s. We both spoke about it, freaking out. He called the police and I went around the car to see the state of the girl. Once I circled around the car, she was gone. Not gone as in dead, gone as in she just wasn't there. The blood on the road was gone too, but not gone from his car. After the police arrived, they concluded that it was some big hoax of a kid who didn't know what they were talking about and some guy who went along with it. The blood on the truck was brought to investigation only to be found as paint. Nothing else was put up about it. I'm still not sure if what happened was real. It felt so real, but I don't believe in the paranormal. I don't know what it was. If it was just a dream or if it was real. I remember it like it was real. I feel like I can't leave the house now. I don't understand anything now, and I kind of feel like I'm going crazy. Has anyone else experienced something like this? To put it plainly, I have no idea what the hell is even happening anymore. First of all, my parents called me the other day to let me know that they're coming to visit this weekend. Sounds normal, right? Well, it should be, if my parents hadn't died in a horrific car accident with a semi-truck last year. Yesterday, my little brother called me. He sounded incredibly unnerved about something, so I asked him what was wrong. This monster has been following me around since Wednesday. At first I didn't believe him, but I asked him to describe the monster anyway. It has translucent white skin, unnaturally long legs, but walks on its knees, glowing yellow eyes that seem to gaze upon his very soul, an unnerving smile that stretched from ear to ear with dagger-like teeth, and long, lanky arms with large, clawed hands. A wave of chills suddenly flowed over me, causing me to freeze up. I managed to regain my composure and asked him where he had seen this creature. I was walking downtown to get some food for my cat when I noticed something moving in the parking structure across the street. I focused on it and watched for movement. That's when I noticed a face peeking at me from around a car on the 7th floor of the structure. That godforsaken smile perpetually etched into its skull. I was petrified just attempting to visualize this creature. "I've gotta go. I'll call you back later," I said as I hung up the phone. Is he crazy? Am I crazy? I don't even know what to believe anymore. My brother called me again. What he said sent a tsunami of pure, unrelenting fear through my entire body. I met the monsters last night. I was taken aback. How is he still alive? What happened? I asked him. When I finally fell asleep last night after hours of tossing and turning, worried about the monster, I was quickly awakened by a scraping sound. It sounded like nails on a chalkboard and sent goosebumps down my arms. I lurched forward in my bed to find the source of the sound. I looked to the window, only to see those piercing yellow eyes staring right back at me. I was frozen with primal fear, the most powerful emotion of all, as it slowly slid one long claw under the window and opened it. I was paralyzed as it crept through the window and into the room with me. I saw my life flash before my eyes as the monster outstretched its lanky arms toward me. I thought it would simply reach into my chest and tear out my still beating heart. I was surprised when the monster gently scooped me into its arms. It cradled me like an infant as it crept back outside through the open window. As we crept towards the forest, the creature pushed itself off its knees, and it now stood at its full height, well above the treetops. It strode through the forest with an elegance not befitting of a creature of its appearance. As it cradled me, it began to sing one of the lullabies Mother used to sing to us at bedtime. Its voice was that of a beautiful woman, but much more eerie. It was as if someone had taken a recording of an opera and layered it over on top of itself, as if there were hundreds of voices singing at once. When I awoke, I surveyed my surroundings. I was still in the woods. There was an enormous bonfire directly in front of me, and the monster was on my left side, just staring down at me. Then, a second monster appeared behind it, much larger than the first. This one spoke in a deep voice that, once again, sounded like 100 voices at once. "My son, it has been far too long. Your mother and I have missed you dearly." I should have been terrified, but instead I only felt loved. "We have brought you a gift." With this, it put forward its hand, holding in it a children's book. It was one of the ones that our father used to read us as children. As I groggily grabbed the book, the emotions I should have been feeling before hit me like a Mack truck. As I began to lose consciousness, Father said one more thing. "Tell your brother we have a gift for him too." I was 16, and me and my friends, I'll call Evan and Jake, wanted to rent a hotel for the night since it was spring break. We got to the hotel and checked in. It had a really funky smell, but we all still stayed there. Once we got to our room, it was about 3 p.m., so we decided to go swimming. The pool was downstairs in a separate building from the hotel. Once we got to the entrance, there was a man at least 6'3" in all black with a hood covering his face, facing us. I panicked a little, but not out loud. We got into the pool and swam for a few hours until we saw that man again, in all black, sitting on a chair by the pool. I cleared my throat. Can I help you, sir?" I asked. No response. I still was a little paranoid. I put my face in the water, and at the bottom of the pool was another figure that was dressed in all black as well. I screamed like a little girl and ran for the door. I looked back and saw nothing, not the guy in the chair, nor the guy under the pool. My friends thought I was just seeing things, but I saw what I saw clear as water. I didn't feel like swimming anymore, so I decided to get dinner at a nearby restaurant. I got a table for me and my friends to sit at, and there I saw once again the man in all black on the other side of the dining room, and he was staring right at me. I've had enough. I went over there and I lost track of him, and he took off. After I decided this trip has gone too far and that we should leave tomorrow morning, but my friends didn't like that idea. Once it was 10:30, me and my friends dozed off in the hotel room. I woke up to some noises, and I saw a shadowy figure at the end of my bed. I calmed myself down and told myself that it was my hat that I put there before I went to bed. I went to bed and got woken up again 30 minutes later to more noises. I was getting thirsty, so I reached under the bed and tried to grab my water bottle, but I grabbed something and I was totally shocked. It was my hat. I was never more scared in my life. I couldn't help but to scream at the top of my lungs when I heard a voice next to my ear say, "You're a bitch." I jumped out of bed and realized it was two men in black right there, and I tried to fight them, but it was no use once they grabbed me and dragged me out of that room. I tried to scream, but that guy was covering my mouth. I passed out and woke up in a stretcher. It turned out those guys knifed me while I passed out, and nobody caught them. The doctor said no one could catch the guys who got me. To this day, I always have a nightlight on at night, so I'm not scared.